If you notice, you've got two flyers on your table with this logo of people jumping in the air. So this is not people jumping in the air, but it's our logo for our ATD Sacramento Workshop Series. We're doing for the first time a workshop series in 2015. It's a series, 6 of these 2 to 3 day long workshops throughout the year. And the first one comes up in April 23rd, 24th, and it's entitled Harnessing the Amazing Power of Articulate Storyline, a 2-day hands-on workshop. That is with our own Scott Nipper, a great price on all these workshops. We've worked out great deals with all these folks. So take a look at that. From Articulate Storyline, we have 2 of our fundamentals for training professionals. They're taking place again as part of this series. Our first one in May, I'm sure, is already sold out, but the fall is available. The Core Journey, folks that you've seen before, maybe Dee Hansford and Diana Wright, will be presenting that in June. Mastering the Art and Science of Motivation, Dennis Wade, in August. That's a new course. Very excited about that. Tyler, don't laugh at your father. Come on.
You said Mastering the Art and Science of Motivation. I went, that's the one I want to go do. And then you said Dennis Wade. I went, no, never mind.
Then I'm definitely not going to tell you who's assisting him with that. October, I'm very excited about this one. October, topic TBD. There's another surprise. And then in November, we have our final fundamentals for training professionals. So very exciting. Take a look at those. Check them out on the website. A big year of events. But first, now for Tom's big announcement. He's still not back, probably. That's too bad. He's going to be really mad at me that I get to do this. But as you know, there's been a lot of changes in our chapter and actually nationally for ATD this year. And that's it. We are now no longer ASTD, or the American Society for Training and Development. We're now ATD, or the Association for Talent Development. So it's a big deal in our circle for trainers and instructional designers, et cetera, But what you may not know is how, I guess, just pervasive and widespread this information has gone in the general public. And, well, like when something like this really spreads, the idea spreads, it goes viral, you start hearing like Letterman in the evening comics talking about ASTD to ATD. You probably heard that. You see it on t-shirts. Maybe you missed it, you don't stay up that late, but you start seeing it on t-shirts. And when a meme like this really breaks through, then the ultimate happens. The ultimate, Weird Al Yankovic does a parody song of it, right? So what would you say if I told you we have a video tonight of Weird Al Yankovic doing a song about ASTD to ATD? You'd be excited, right? I wish we had that. I don't, but I've got something better. Because direct from Hollywood, California, Weird Al Yankovic is in the house! Weird Al! Where are you? Weird Al Yankovic is in the house!
Good evening. Probably a lot of you ask yourself, do you ever have to make up your mind? There's a lot of times when you have to. And ATD had to do this when they changed their name. So I thought it was really appropriate when they sang that. It's to the tune of a song some of you might have heard called Did You Ever Have to Make Up Your Mind? So here we go, you guys ready? Yeah. Am I loud enough, Jess? Okay, here we go. jacket here. I might be able to see. Did you ever have to make up your mind and give in to talent and leave the training behind? It may not seem easy and it may not seem kind. Did you ever have to open your mind? Did you ever have to finally decide? Captivate present or advanced storyline. Everything's changing, it's not a surprise. Did you ever have to finally decide? So you hire a speaker you think will be funny. The press warns you this better make money. And if it don't work out, she'll take you aside and say you better call sure now to volunteer your time. That's when you know you better make up your mind. Brain research topics all start to unwind. Your neurotransmitters are taking your time. You ever have to make up your mind? So you hire an expert in graphic recording. The board members tell you, well, that'll be boring. And just when you think you found that perfect program, oh, perfect program, you see the same topic in some OD network spam. Now you ever left Addie to Sam? Sat straight up in bed and asked, is this who I am? You start feeling guilty like a crook on the plan. Have you ever left Addie for Sam? Listen to me now. I can't laugh at it. Good job. Do you ever have to finally decide and say yes to talent and leave the training behind? There's so many changes all getting inside. Did you ever have to finally decide?
We're Al Yankovic. I'm in Sacramento. We're Al.
So glad to be here tonight.
Weird Al, I never expected to see you in Sacramento.
I know, I thought I'd never be here, but Scott Nipper, is he here tonight?
Scott is not here tonight.
He's a friend of mine, and he said, you know, I got this group, and they do their name change, and I thought it'd be really good if you could come be here and write a song for us.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
Direct from Hollywood, California. Well, you know, you've done this for us. You've come all the way from Hollywood,
Yeah.
and I hate to impose,
Yeah.
but you know, are you familiar with any other topics
Oh,
from
yeah.
the world of training? development?
Yeah, well, you know, I told you Scott's my friend, and he's
Like-
all into this Addie and Sam stuff. So.
Maybe like ROI or
Yeah, ROI. I'm working on that one. I won't do that one tonight.
like maybe Sharon Bowman stand-up training.
No. No, I'm familiar with Addie and Sam.
You know, we had a great program about moving from Addie to Sam just last fall.
That's what I heard.
Do you know about that?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I wrote a song about that.
Well, please.
Yeah.
Can you help us with that?
I can. And you know what? I have a friend who's going to help us. We have by special arrangement, Mr. Bert Backrack is going to accompany me. Bert Backrack, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a round of applause.
I'm really sorry. We sort of ran out of budget. We didn't get Bert, sorry. Yeah.
All right, well, I have a backup. Ladies and gentlemen, the Von Trapp family.
Oh.
The family Von Trapp.
Yeah, no, really sorry, but no.
Oh, well, I can do this on my own.
Oh, be our guest. Be our
Okay,
guest.
all right, here we go. This is to the tune of Jack and Diane. Perhaps you've heard that song, okay? So, here we go. Sam, two curriculum constructs from the heartland. Addie said to Sam, you know, I think you're the one. Sam said to Addie, I think your time is done. after zombies attack and scare your dog. Addie said to Sam, you know, I'm a genius in France. A little unorthodox over there, but a real smarty pants. Sam said to Addie, you know, I think that's okay, 'cause I'm big in Portugal and even Green Bay. Oh yeah, learning goes on, even after a pack of wild flamingos dig up your lawn. Oh yeah, learning goes on, even after you win the lottery and you start writing songs like me. I'm pretty lucky. I'm here with you tonight. Sam teased Addie about her acronym. Attention deficit disorder is everywhere. Addie said, Sam, hey, you're easy to follow. Let's all hear it for the successive approximation model, whatever that means. Oh yeah, learning goes on, even after a guy in a wig sings this song. Pretty unlikely. Oh yeah, learning goes on, even after they put a man on the moon and no one believes it. I think it was a set done in Hollywood, myself. This is hard to do. Very hard to do. Sam said, Addie, can't we just work together? Addie said to Sam, you know, that might be better.
Sadly, though, I'm so sad that our past president, Tom Moore, couldn't have been here to see that. That is so sad. But, you know, I'm hoping he's going to be back by the end of the program because we always do something special for our past president. We want to award him, give him a little appreciation at the end of the evening tonight. So hopefully he'll come back. So, keep your cells on. If Tom gets lost, is looking for this place, and, direct him back here. I think we're doing something else tonight. Do we have a program after this? Okay, I am so excited about Shark Tank.
Wow, it's kind of hard to come after that, isn't it? The good news is we do still have plenty of talent on tap for you this evening. So we are going to go ahead and get started with our main event. This is the Shark Tank. I know, we're mixing our shark things, right? Because Shark Tank doesn't make that noise. That's actually from Jaws. How many of you have seen Shark Tank? Okay, great. So we're going to have a good time this evening. We have 3 presenters who are vying for the opportunity to be the speaker next month. And so Shark Tank, as you know, needs judges. Yes? Yes. Yes. So we have judges. Please let's give a warm welcome to our judges. So judge number 1 is our president for 2015. Let's give a warm welcome to Alex Reed. Our next judge is fabulous. She's always keeping us on track with the budget. And anybody who has ever watched the Shark Tank knows they're always worried about the money. So let's give a warm welcome to our lovely Director of Finance, Judy Eisenman. And our third judge this evening is the lovely and talented Co-Programs Director, Jennifer Keller. And the judges are going to keep everything on track. They're going to make sure that you know exactly what is in it for you, each of these programs. They've got some questions to ask. but really it's all about our speakers, and we are so fortunate tonight because we have 3 really excellent speakers. I think you guys have a really tough time ahead of you deciding who is going to be the winner and the person who gets to present for us for February. Now, I do want to explain what we're going to want you to do is listen to each of the speakers, listen to what the judges have to, the questions that they have to ask, and then when all 3 of the speakers are finished, you are going to have the opportunity to vote for the speaker of your choice, and this is highly technical, so pay attention. In the back of the room, we have posters with each of our contestants on there. We have Allison Horak, we have Gary Xavier, and we also have Monica Eisel. What you may also see on the whiteboard looks like a school of fish, and those in fact are sharks. And what you're going to do is you will walk up and you will pluck a shark off the whiteboard. Now, mind you, they all have these little sticky tabs on the back of them. So when you pull them, make sure you get the sticky tab with it or the shark won't stick. So then you're going to take your shark and put it on the poster or in the tank, if you will, of the contestant that you're choosing. So, everybody got that? Okay, I know it's tricky, but we fed you, so you should be good. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce my first speaker this evening. And our first speaker this evening is Allison Horak. Allison is an independent training consultant and attorney. She conducts training on a wide range of business topics, including business writing, grammar, and critical thinking. Allison has a BA in Communications from UC San Diego and attended law school at Lewis & Clark in Portland. Her topic this evening is What's in My Training Bag? Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Allison Horak.
Can you hear me without this?
Maybe.
Okay, I don't like this, so. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Sharks, I'm going to cut to the chase, and audience. My proposal for the February meeting is what's in my training bag. So you heard a little bit about me. I'm going to take just a moment to, I wasn't sure what was going to be said. So anyway, I did go to law school in Portland, Oregon. We don't have to talk about how long ago that was, but a few years ago. And I got married there. And then about 16 years ago, my husband, who's here tonight to support me, we moved to Sacramento, and we've been here ever since. And all 3 of our boys were born here. And just in case you're wondering, they're little angels. They never do anything wrong. They've never been dirty in their life. And then from this point on, I'll tell the truth. Okay. So about 2.5 years ago, with counseling, persuasion, I made the transition from the legal field to the instructor world. That's the apple, okay? And I've never looked back. It's been great. And I could not have done it without 2 people. Of course, my husband, but okay, we've covered him. So, my 2 mentors, they're probably familiar to you, Dennis Wade and Bruce Winter. And any success that I have had is due in large part to these 2 people. And despite the fact that I had these 2 people in my corner helping me, counseling me, there were still things I didn't know. And one thing was, what do I take with me to class? I didn't know. So literally what goes in my training bag. So that's kind of where that's the seed of my presentation. And so even despite having great information, there's still things that you just have to learn by doing. And this leads me to, you may recognize this screenshot from A Few Good Men. So this is at the point where Kevin Bacon thinks he's, real clever, and he hands Noah Wiley this big instruction manual and say, turn to the page that tells me about Code Red. And of course he can't do that because there's no Code Red in the manual. Okay, and then Tom Cruise, counters. Turn to the page that shows me where the mess hall is. Well, that's not in there either. So the point is there's information that's important that isn't necessarily written down somewhere or shared, not for want of someone wanting to be helpful, but it's impossible to tell everyone everything they need to know at the beginning. Okay, so, ergo, my topic. So, what's in my training bag? In other words, this is what the topic is. What are the essentials that every trainer, new or experienced, should have at all times with him or her, either literally or figuratively? So that's the kind of two-pronged part of my proposal. Okay, so although I have more than 2 examples of each, tonight I'm just going to share 2 literal examples and 2 figurative examples. You're going to have to come in February to get the whole picture. Okay, so here we go. Sustenance. Anyone who knows me, I am all about the food. Okay, so this is I am not a paid promoter, but this is the granola bar that I always have with me. Nature Valley. That you get 2 in the package. That's why. Okay. So, but really, besides eating a healthy breakfast, you never know if you're going to have a student who approaches you on lunch and you may not be able to, eat your food that you brought or go somewhere or the cafeteria is closed, whatever. You should always have a snack with you. And I have learned that the hard way. The second literal thing you should always have with you that I have learned is a generic level 1 evaluation form. And so it would work for any client, any venue, because even if the client says, oh, we don't do that or whatever, you want to be able to capture that information and have it. In getting work at other places, that is one thing that I have passed on in looking for more work. Hey, you want to see my evaluations from a past class? And it's just a great tool. I have 40 or 50 blank ones with me at all times. Okay, so that's the literal. Now, of course, the more meaty part of the presentation will be in the figurative. What makes a good trainer? What should people always have with them? Again, this is only 2. One is some adult learning principles. This is something that I had to learn about, and Bruce and Dennis did teach me about this. But, for instance, adults bring life experiences to their learning experiences. So you want to make sure and tap that. Adults are relevancy oriented. If it doesn't pertain, they're not interested. Okay. And adults like to be respected by encouraging expressing their ideas, but not forcing participation. And of course, there's ways to draw people out, and I would like to, we want to talk about that in February. Okay. Also, humility. A work in progress, right? We all have to work on this. You want to show confidence without being arrogant as a presenter. You should be a subject matter expert, so you should draw on your confidence that way, but you don't want to be a know-it-all either. One way you can show that is admitting when you don't know something. You don't want to do that too much, but I think that can be a credibility builder. Admitting to your class, I don't know, can I look that up on break and get back to you? That can really be a moment for you to connect with your class and build your credibility. And then graciously accepting and even soliciting alternative viewpoints, that may kind of butt up against some of the principles you're even presenting. Okay. So here is the format, sharks, that I am proposing. Prime the pump by briefly sharing some of my experiences, as I've done here this evening. And then the focus is really harnessing the knowledge of the group, those in attendance in February. So it's not a lecture. There's no sales component about it at all. That's always a little touchy, right? At ATD meetings, there's no salesiness. And it's not all about me. So again, I'm just going to kind of prime the pump, and then we'll do some activities to draw the group knowledge. And the end result, at the end of the February meeting, we'll have the ultimate checklist for a superb trainer. That's what we want to walk away with. The 2 key words that summarize my proposal are that it's practical and interactive. And when I think about ATD, or ASTD, okay, meetings that I've gone to in the past, these are the ones that I've been the happiest with, when it's interactive and practical. Thank you.
Do I turn this on. Oh,
Do you feel comfortable staying there?
yeah. Do you want to start? Oh, you're going to start?
Well,
Go,
if you wanna
Alice.
start- no,
Go,
Judge.
Judge. President.
El President.
President.
So how are our audience benefit from this event? And also, is this for all members of ATD, or do you think it's only a specific niche member that should be attending this type of event?
So I'm coming at it from a I'm new-ish perspective, 2.5 years, but I see the total swath of the membership hopefully being interested and participating, because we want not only new people but experienced people to come and share their, their past. So I think it will apply to everyone, and hopefully everyone will be interested in it.
There we go. Allison, what personal and or professional benefit do you see for yourself from being the featured speaker in February?
Well, I've never been a speaker at an ATD meeting before, so I am interested in that. Okay, let's face it, it'll look great on the CV. Am I right? Yes, I am. Is that too shallow of a response? I don't know. It's the truth. I told you I was going to tell the truth from that picture on, so I'm stuck.
Allison, so there's a great ROI for you in this. If you're in this Shark Tank. I'm the finance director for the organization.
I am doing it for free, That's what I win, is doing it for free.
Well, my question was going to be this practical and interactive session. What was going to be the cost? And also, do you think that Nature Valley would be a co-op sponsor?
They should be for the plug I just gave them. Yeah, so I haven't worked out exactly what the worksheet will look like, but I foresee some kind of handout on the tables and gathering the information that way, and then kind of building a list and maybe even circulating it after the compiled list. I'll make it all pretty.
Great.
Yeah. You need to save some questions for the other folks.
Are you trying to get off the stage?
You can't use all the questions on me. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. You may step down and we will talk about it.
Didn't she do a terrific job? Okay, oh, there we go, all right. Great, okay, so Allison got us off to a great start. Everybody excited for our next speaker? Outstanding. Well, our next speaker is Gary Xavier. Gary is the Chief Exploration Officer of the Blade Group LLC, a workforce development firm committed to mobilizing one inspired workforce. Gary's a keynote speaker, trainer, and writer on modern workforce trends like Gen Y-Z dynamics, leadership, culture, and performance. His topic this evening is the sum of focus, the destination drill. Please join me in welcoming Gary Xavier.
Following you, Allison, I think the mic is a waste of complete time for a room full of loud people. That's fine. Hi, I'm really excited to see you, Sharks. I'm really excited to see everyone, and I'm really excited to tell you that you're about to witness a miracle in my life. I've never spoken in under 10 minutes with any kind of clarity. The only example I can give you is when I proposed to my wife. You only have to say 4 words when you propose. Will you marry me? It's a 10-second deal. It took me 10 minutes to say 4 words. So I will admit and confess to you that I am a person who makes things more complex than they need to be. But I don't stand a candle to the American corporation who makes things more complex than anything I can imagine. Now, you talked about self-promotion. Oops. Didn't get the memo on that. Thank you very much. But I think I'll begin the presentation tonight with a swear word, if that's okay with you guys. This word is so pervasive, so ubiquitous, that it has gone into the mouths of every corporation in the world, and they use it when they want to sound serious about something. And the word is strategic. Often do we see this word, strategic objectives, strategic initiatives, strategic mess, strategic strategy. You see it everywhere. But nothing is more strategic than the strategic plan. The strategic plan, the holy of holies, right? And that is what I'm here to talk to you tonight about. I am here not to replace the strategic plan, but to bring into question this exercise as being valid anymore, as something to plan our future businesses. And that's what I want to talk about today. And I want to start it off by giving you a number. We'll go with 3, okay? I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a creative, okay? So we're going to go with 3. My wife is good at numbers. So 3 represents a little bit of a stat. Less than 3% of strategic plans actually reach their full implementation potential. This is the worst stat that I could find to really prove my point. You might find a different stat that's a little higher, but this is the worst stat that I could find, okay? And so, because that they don't reach their full implementation potential, they need, I think, something a little bit different. Because when you dive into the research, you actually start to find that people need a different strategy for this strategic initiative. So, what I found is that there is some really cool research out of the Harvard Business Review that actually found that only 1 in 4 executives actually believe that they're prepared to handle unforeseen events. And 3 in 4 want a new style of strategic planning in order to bear all the different circumstances that they're coming up against. Essentially, they need a new type of strategic plan. That's what they need. But what's really interesting is this fantastic survey that came out of the University of Pennsylvania. It surveyed school superintendents, and it surveyed executive leaders, and they asked them one simple question: what is the most powerful creative ability you can have in your organization? And what they asked, or when they answered, the school superintendent said problem solving, and the executive said problem identification. And because of this reality, I think we need a new type of information to be gathered for the strategic planning process. And I give you the destination drill. It is a combination of 2 parts of my background. Has anyone seen the movie American Sniper? Fantastic film, is it not? It's an amazing film. I must admit to you that I am also an American sniper. I'm literally an American sniper. I served the United States Marine Corps as a United States Marine sniper in the war in Iraq. And I am also probably the only military sniper in history to be a candidate for Ritalin. So the information that we get when we do a strategic plan is mainly automated. It sometimes comes from a survey, sometimes comes from information that we have tracked over time. It rarely is creative, and it rarely is intelligent. And both my backgrounds of being creative, that is an amazing slide. I slid like 5 feet. And my background in intelligence gathering give us creative intelligence. And the destination drill is about creating a creative, intelligent environment to begin the strategic planning process. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The destination drill involves taking a group of workers and leaders and challenging them to do something that the intelligence community does on a daily basis. Some people don't realize that when you are an intelligence operative, there's really 2 main things that you want to do. You want to plan for a mission. When you plan for a mission, you want to have information, and then you want to also have information that's gathered on the ground. Let me say that again. When you plan for a mission, you want good information and information that's gathered on the ground, okay? And we do this in a way that people don't expect. Intelligence operatives actually use a creative process for this. And we do it through observation and drawing. We actually draw the things that we see. When I arrived in a sniper platoon, they said, "Can you draw?" And I said, "What is this? What? I thought we were going to be snipers." And they said, "Can you draw or not?" And this was the first picture they had me draw. They literally put me in a room and they said, "Draw the desk and the box." That's all they said. What we noticed is that the perception that we have as intelligence operatives paints a picture, it tells a story about what we see on site. It gives the leaders the ability to make a plan. There is no plan before we bring back this information. We jump into strategic planning with no intelligence. Make sense? We need to be intelligence gatherers. We need to be creative intelligence gatherers. So the destination drill does something very simple. It's based on an analogy. It's based on analogy with using this. I am very committed to my exercise that I'm pitching you tonight because I stole this from my 11-month-old daughter. It's a house, a structure. We all exist in a house or a structure. Hopefully it's one that is safe and secure, sound. We exist in companies that sometimes exist in a home or exist in a building that we hope is safe, secure, and sound. The idea is that we want to take a group and collection of professionals that are going to actually learn how to do intelligence sketching, and they're going to sketch the house that they work in. They're going to sketch it in the form of a structure. They're going to use their own creative ability to understand, to paint, basically to sketch with pencil, what that structure looks like. It can be a house. It can be a building. We're not going to put a constraint on that. It could be an outhouse. For some of you, it might be. All right? So the purpose behind this is to actually start doing something called symphonic learning. Has anyone heard of symphonic learning? Anyone heard of that? This is big picture learning. We are no longer in an information age. This information age is now moving into what's called the conceptual age by Dan Payne, right? The conceptual age that computers are taking over our analytical brain. Meaning all of the number crunching, all the spreadsheets, the computers are going to do that. And now it's left to us, what they've done, what the computers have given us as a gift is to focus on the things that are mainly human. Creative thinking, self-expression, and the ability to see big picture stuff we actually like to do. We're going to take these people in the room, they're going to draw their organization as they see it. We're going to split up the divisions of their organization into separate buildings, or they're going to be parts of their structure. They're going to decide what they want to do. They might line up building after building, or they might actually create one solitary structure on their piece of paper. What they're going to do at a table is they're going to decide, and they're going to discuss and tell the story of why they drew it this way, and they're going to separate them out into 3 lenses. And this is where this goes into the strategic planning process. Leaders are going to be able to know what part of their organization needs to be renovated, what part needs to be restored, and what part needs to be demolished. Remember the survey. Problem identification is what we need for strategic planning. We don't need problem solving. We need to figure out where the trend is going to happen that we have to circumvent. And this is what this drill, I believe, will help us do a little bit better with our strategic plans. For those of you who go home on the weekends and love to make spreadsheets or do taxes, is there anybody in there that does that? In here? Oh, good. All right, great. Well, I know people like this, the people that love to do taxes on the weekend, but for the majority of human beings, when we go home on the weekend, what do we enjoy doing? We enjoy doing something creative, something fun, something that expresses our true self. Computers are giving us this ability again. We just have to wake up the muscles. And this is what this is doing. This is a mathematical reasoning drill. That's why it makes sense. It follows a true law of nature, which is that the sum is greater than the part. And if we can reveal the value of individual people, then we'll realize that that whole is greater than that part. I want to thank you for having me. Sharks, fire!
I'm stealing Alex's question from last time. So Gary, I'm curious if it's a similar question. Would this be for a niche group? Not all of our members are necessarily influential in the strategic planning process. So do you envision this being a topic for those who are more in that position, or if it would be open to all members and there would be some kind of subset of task that members who may be not as influential in the strategic planning for their organization could play a part of?
I would prefer that they're breathing. Breathing's good.
Breathing is good.
So I would really prefer that it be open to the entire organization, but I think what's required is that you come with your own personal context to apply in this drill. I think some of you have your own companies. Some of you work at an organization where you might not have a role in the strategic planning process, but you do leadership development, you're working with leaders. This is your drill to use. I think everyone has a context where we can actually apply this in their own life. So I would ask that when they come to bring their own business or their own organization or their own work context with them when they do it.
Gary, so then this sounds like a very elaborate event, and it sounds very exciting, but what would be some learning objectives that we could end up sharing with the audience that they would take away from this event, or even like a tool that they would end up leaving with?
I'm not going to get more of these and give them away. So you want me to describe exactly what they're going to learn in this whole thing. So my entire 10 minutes, I really didn't even do my job.
No, I think you
Thank
covered
you,
a lot.
Alex. You're a very good shark.
Hey, do you want the funding or not? No, I think it was good. I think you described it well, but I was just wondering, is there a couple of things that, like a tool or something they would end up leaving that they could end up walking home with and saying, you know what, I got this from this event?
Well, the whole genesis of this idea is really for you to walk away with the tool you create. So you're walking away with the image of your own business, and you're applying these lenses to it in order to go into your own planning process. Now, strategic planning typically happens between Labor Day and Thanksgiving, right? So we're a little bit past that point, all right? But 2015 is going to go quick, all right? And this is something for you to apply right away. And really what your takeaway is going to be these three lenses, and hopefully it opens the eyes of your own organization. That's what I'm really hoping it does. So no, there is not going to be, if you want a pen with like a cursor on it or something like that, we can do that. Stylist, we can do that.
They all have some of those at the table.
Then these will be in all of your bags. You can claim my baby.
Gary, first of all, I want to thank you for your service. Really appreciate it and your commitment. And as you know, I'm the finance director. No, I don't go home on
What's it gonna
weekends
take?
and make spreadsheets. However, not really. And one of the things that I noticed in your presentation to us this evening, you talked about the drawing and the sketching. How much are those supplies going to be costing? Are we going to have special pencils? And you just said stylus, so we're giving everyone tablets that shows up?
Yes, I want everyone to have an iPad mini. And if you can find a vintage Game Boy for everybody, I think this is truly paper and pencil. That is all it is. All right? They're going to be learning the skills of actually sketching objectives, right, from an intelligence perspective, and then they're going to just be getting this paper and pencil, and then it's going to be a roundtable discussion with the tables that they're at, and then individuals will share some of their stories if they choose to.
Great.
Right.
Thank you.
Paper and pencil.
Paper.
I'm the cheap guy.
Okay.
I have no clue what Nature Valley is going to cost.
Sponsoring.
We got a sponsor now.
Gary, thank you very much, and yeah, we will talk about this as a judge panel, and we appreciate your service and this presentation. Thank you.
Wow, a sniper and a dancer. That's quite a combo. Oh my gosh, it just keeps
I thought
getting
about not
better.
doing that. I really did.
Do you want to do it again?
Hey, watch this! Why am I doing that? That was...
It's your 10 minutes. Thank you very much. All right, so it's now we are on to our third speaker of the evening. Right, I promised you guys you would have a tough time making a decision, and I think so far we've delivered on that. But just in case you're wondering, we've got speaker number 3. So speaker number 3 is Monica Eisel. And Monica is a passionate catalyst for building exceptional leaders, helping achieve their full potential through training, coaching, and strategic planning. Oh my goodness, okay. Monica has a diverse background in training, organizational development, as well as deep communication experience, including expertise in communication strategy, leadership, and internal marketing and campaign management. She's held key roles in business group startups, training and development, software implementation, worldwide program management, and technology product launches. Her experience includes state and local government, nonprofit, and private industry clients, including high-tech, biotech, and the banking industry. A California native, Monica grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and received her bachelor's degree from Humboldt State University on California's North Coast. She currently lives in Fair Oaks, California. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome Monica Eisel.
That's gotta be one knock against her for that long bio.
Get the memo! If I knew it was a 2-line memo, really, I would have done it. It's okay, we're ahead of schedule. Oh, just tell me to get extra time. I gotta get my goodie bag. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Oh, I like this. Good. Good, we still have some energy left. They didn't ruin it all for me. After an ukulele and granola bars and some snipe rain and the dancing, it's a lot to live up to. I am here to talk to you about winning hearts and minds, storytelling for impact and action. And yes, my kids were wondering why I had the scuba gear out the other night, but it just had to be done at Shark Tank. I'll come down. How many of you, judges included, have ever needed someone to believe something to be true? What a concept. Make a decision, take an action. Yeah. Remember something. Oh, I haven't needed to do that, but actually I am on the hook tonight to do all 3 of those things. I need you all to remember something. I need you all to believe something to be true, and I need all of you, especially you 3, to take an action. So I'm here to talk to you about winning hearts. I got for a reason. Winning hearts and minds. Storytelling. Now, a lot of people ask me, storytelling. What does that mean? So what are judges? I'll ask you first. What are the first quick word association moment? What words do you think of when I say storytelling?
Children.
Children.
Fable.
Fable.
Oh gosh, anything.
Anything. Audience? Audience, what do you think of when you hear storytelling?
Entertainment.
Entertainment. That's good. Go with that. Disney. Passion. I like it. Disney. Interest.
Learning.
These are all very positive words. No wonder I love everyone in ATD so much. You know, I often think of a little storytelling myself. You know, bust out the couple fables there. You said fables. Often when I say that, when I ask audiences this, I get a response of fibs, white lies, outright lies. Not those. I like your answers better. Positive. What storytelling is, in the sense that I'm talking about, is business storytelling. And that is, there we go, small words, long audience. I'll read it to you. Strategically place stories within a communication that make the information that you want to share, your data and information, more memorable, and make your audience more likely to take action. That's business storytelling. And I get people that ask me, okay, storytelling, really, Monica, 17 years at Intel, and now you got your own business, and you're doing all of those things in that extra long bio that you heard. So I didn't even need to introduce myself. Why storytelling? What hooked you on storytelling? And I said, well, there was this time back in kindergarten. No, just kidding. That did hook me on storytelling. But in the business sense, storytelling, I remember one time in particular. Well, I remember this one ATD meeting, but that's another story altogether. ASTD back in the day. But that's another story. That requires a couple more glasses of wine. I remember one time, it was February morning. It was cold, kind of like this morning, chilly out. I had bundled up in my big brand new wool coat that I had just gotten after moving up to Folsom. Turns out I needed it more in the Bay Area, and I had flown down to Santa Clara, Intel's headquarters in Santa Clara. And it was an early morning flight. Intel's got a shuttle that flies out of Mather right over here. Early morning flight, and I'm on the stage, and suddenly I am blinded by the lights, and I'm just kind of groggy, waking up. I am on stage with 3 other presenters, and I'm moderating a panel. And this panel is called Possibility Thinking. It's about possibility thinking. I've got 2 general managers from different business divisions and 1 VP. And in this moment, I'm looking out at this audience. I've got 400 people in the room, and I've studied the topic. It's possibility thinking. I read the book. I know what we're talking about, enough to be a moderator anyways. And as I turned and asked the second question of the morning, I asked the 1 VP who was on the stage, who, unbeknownst to us at the time, yes, less than a year later, was going to be this new CEO of Intel, Brian Krzanich. And I asked him, so Brian, tell the audience what possibility thinking means to you. And he looked, and he's known for being a very plain-spoken man. And he's also known for being a great leader. And he said, possibility thinking to me is the difference between thinking that I need to save as much money as I can by the end of the year. And he looked out in the audience and asked what I'm about to ask you. What would you do if you had to save as much money as you could by the end of the year? What are some of the things you do? Judges?
Stop going to Starbucks.
That's always the first answer. Stop going to Starbucks. Yes. What else?
Get my husband to stop going to Starbucks.
Get your husband to stop going to Starbucks. That costs me even more. That peaks. It's all over. Maybe take your lunch. Maybe not send 58 greeting cards. I have a friend who does that every year. 58 a month. You'd find some ways. You'd find those extra things to cut out. And he looked at the audience and got some very similar answers and said, yeah. He said, the difference in possibility thinking is, now, think about what would you do if you wanted to save $1 million by the end of the year. And I saw a lot of eyes go, it's an audience. We've got about 400 people in the room, 1,000 on the webcast. These are Intel employees who are not underpaid by any stretch of the imagination, but these aren't people who are living outside their means. We have techs in the room. We have people from the full spectrum of employees at Intel. $1 million. Now you're starting to think about, maybe I'll get another job, maybe I'll rob a bank. You're thinking a totally different bag of chips, and I saw the light bulbs go off. He said, let me give you another example. And he reached under his chair, and he pulled out this hunk of metal. It was a machined thing, not fancy looking. You could see a couple light welds on the side and wires hanging out of it. And me, being the moderator, having no idea now where this territory is going to, Brian, tell us what that is. And he told a very simple story. He said a tech in Malaysia who works on the floor, switching machines from one process to another, came up with this. We have a process, it takes 30 minutes every day to switch from one process to another when we're changing from one kind of chip to another. These 30 minutes are 30 minutes of downtime on every single machine in the fab in Malaysia, and every single machine in the fab or assembly test site in China, and every single machine in Costa Rica. That's millions of dollars. This tech came up with a simple way. His manager challenged him to shorten the process. And instead of just incrementally finding a way to switch that one wire 30 seconds faster, he came up with this simple machine that changed the entire thing in less than 30 seconds, saving $5 million for Intel in 1 year. That's possibility thinking. And I saw eyes like I see right here in this room right now. And by a simple story, a simple illustration where he made it very real and very practical and very human, he engaged an entire audience in this concept of possibility thinking. Now that's a whole other topic I can talk about for years too. That's next year's Shark Tank. I'll talk about that later. But the bottom line is I saw the power of storytelling right there in that moment. And with several of my colleagues at Intel, we went off, and I've seen storytelling work before, but not quite to that depth and power. We went off, we did a whole bunch of research. And then we did a bunch more research. And then we watched a bunch of TED Talks, because those are really the best way to cap off your research, especially late at night. And what we came up with is a presentation. We have a couple versions, the 1-hour one or 30-minute one, depending on how much time you get the February meeting, all the way up to a 4-hour half-day class on both the science and the craft of storytelling. And what participants will get out of this is the ability to leverage the science and value of business storytelling to improve communications, to craft and deliver inspiring stories themselves, and deliver inspiring messages that drive action. And that's the key. We want to drive action. So I see some head nods. I like this. This is good. This is good. But I know some of you are still skeptical. So let me give you a little taste of what you'll get out of each of these sections. In the section on the science of storytelling, you will learn how we've evolved, how our brains have actually evolved to be responsive to both tell stories and be responsive to stories. Why stories work. What's the neuroscience behind why stories work? Why you need to appeal to both halves of the brain, the creative side and the more logical, rational side, or the heart and the mind, if you will. Also, in the section on the craft of storytelling, you'll get, you'll get story sources. You'll get a variety of ways to find story sources that are easy for you to come up with. This shouldn't be hard work to come up with stories. It should be easy. It should be fun. It should make it memorable. This isn't meant to be hard, agonizing work. That's not fun for anyone. You'll get tools for storytelling. I have all kinds of tools on where to find them, how to get them, how to use them, where to drop them in, and how to use stories well. There's whole sections on each of those things. Won't go into them now. Saving that for February. I'll even include some case studies on emotions in storytelling, in advertising in particular. You can see how it works and leverage some of those key concepts for your own stories. And then we'll practice and we'll try some stories ourselves, some simple and easy ones with some compact tools for storytelling. So if you choose me for the February meeting, I will not read you any fables. That'll be after the wine in the parking lot later.
Wine in the park.
I will, however, inspire your hearts and your minds for business storytelling and hopefully get you all fired up. I'd like to end with this proverb. It's one of my favorites. Tell me a fact and I'll learn. Tell me a truth and I'll believe. Tell me a story and it will live in my heart forever. And with that, I'll fly you with candy, judges.
I do like the bribery.
Speaking of bribery, I mean, fire away.
So Monica, what would be in this for you? Why are you doing the Shark Tank?
Well, clearly I'm not a very outgoing person, so I need to practice. I'm fairly new to the Sacramento ATD chapter, so I'm looking forward to getting to know some more people and share the message of storytelling and let people take that and run with it and improve upon it. Make it better, make it fun.
Hi, Monica. Can you tell us, you mentioned some, that people would work on their stories and you have some tools or practical things that people could take away. Could you give us one example of one of those practical tools that someone would actually leave with?
Absolutely.
Besides the candy?
Chocolate always works. Some of the practical tools are, well, I'll give you a hint. One of them is the 3Ds, drama, details, and dialogue. And when you're telling stories, and I have extras, we don't want to run out. Oh, everybody, here, have some more. I can't take these home. The last thing I need is my 10-year-old hopped up on chocolate. Drama, details, and dialogue are 3 easy, memorable ways to develop a story. So those are the things that people tend to remember, and the neuroscience that I'll talk about backs that up, but those are 3 of the tips.
I know you're wondering what Judy's question
I'm
is.
dying of curiosity.
These things look expensive.
Dove dark chocolate, my favorite. So you got my heart and the gummy for my mind. Things will stick to it. I do have a question, and it's not really about pertaining to our chapter, but did that tech get a bonus?
I believe that I honestly can't say absolutely, but you know, I can't imagine he did. We at Intel they would do awards for great innovation, and I am 99.9% positive he got the highest level award.
Okay, good. So the ROI for our organization, our members, would be that they are going to be able to walk away by telling a great story.
And we can test that at the March meeting on the way in the door. Yes, be able to tell a great story so that they can use that. And it's not just at work, it's at home. I use this on my kids all the time. At home, at church, in your favorite nonprofit group, in whatever aspect of your life. Adding stories, even if they're small, compact, like a metaphor, an analogy, just enriches the point that you're trying to make and get across, and can make a powerful difference. So that'll be part of the ROI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so 3 tough choices, right? Let's give them one more round of applause. So they did all of the tough work, now it's your turn. You get to decide who is going to be our featured speaker in February, and just so we're clear, they get 1 full hour of your undivided attention. Do you like how we promised that? And we pay for all of the materials and things that go along with that. So it's a great opportunity for them to get in front of you again and share what they have in the way of knowledge and expertise. And it's a great opportunity for us to really decide what we want to see in February. So it's kind of neat to have that opportunity to do that. So you have 10 minutes, my friends, 10 minutes to talk amongst yourselves, to ask questions of our speakers if you want to grab a cupcake if you need to ponder it for a minute or two. And then what we'd like you to do is pluck a shark off the wall and put it on the tank of the speaker that you would like to see in February. So you've got 10 minutes. I will be back up here to see what you've decided at 7:25. Go ahead.